What's up, everyone? It's the Virtual Viking, and today I'm asking you, do you find yourself blown away by the amount of content in Halo Infinite? No! Yeah, me neither. But how did this game stray so much from the trailer that made us all feel like we were finally going to get back to the Halo experience that we know and love? And while the gameplay was fun, why did the game still feel so empty at launch? Like it was missing something. Which leads us straight into the topic of this video, the cut content of Halo Infinite. And if you guys are new here and enjoy watching me rant and ramble about this sort of thing, consider hitting that subscribe to see more of me. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now, a notable thing in Halo Infinite is that instead of the Chief duking it out with the Covenant, we are instead fighting the Banished, an assortment of outcasts from the Covenant being led by the Brutes, finally bringing them back to Halo after 2 games not featuring them at all. And they are led by the badass War Chief Atriox, the most formidable villain we have ever faced. I can't wait to see what all he brings to this game. And of course, alongside the Banished, we're also going to see a second awesome major faction that we can duke it out with during the campaign. Yeah. Wait, there's not another one? Where the hell are the Prometheans? So, the Prometheans were featured prominently in the last 2 Halo games as a major plot point, and as the third entry to 343's Reclaimer saga, they should have appeared as the second enemy faction in this game. So, where did they go? No explanation given, they just simply do not appear in this game. Early concept art shows designs for the Prometheans, but they never seem to get past this stage of development, leaving us scratching our heads wondering what their purpose was going to be in this game. Sadly, it seems that we'll never know. Some other creatures, however, made it much further in development. Remember the E3 trailer for Halo Infinite back in 2018, where we saw a beautiful landscape of Zeta Halo and all the different biomes that were teeming with wildlife? Yeah, they didn't make it either. In this trailer, we see some sort of split-horn rhino fully modeled and rendered, and yet we don't see much wildlife in the gameplay itself, making the world feel like it's just the UNSC and the Banished here. Which is strange because remember in Halo Reach, from the start we saw different wildlife in the world, making us feel like there was more to the planet than just this conflict. Hashtag remember Reach. Another creature called the Crusher also had models made, showing it being outfitted with Banished armor, and it seemed like in the game it would act as a sort of living tank. But sadly this was scrapped also. And this would have been cool as, from my memory, the last new Covenant species introduced was the Engineer all the way back in Halo 3 ODST. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments below. And we haven't seen any new members since this. And Infinite would have been the perfect time to bring us some new members, as the Banished are a pretty new faction, so they could have spiced it up a little bit. But instead it's just the same species that we've known for years. It's mildly disappointing. Along with these, there were also many weapons and vehicles cut from the game as well. Remember back in Halo 3 after the Great Schism and the Brutes were now the leaders of the Covenant ground forces, and the Covenant weapons and vehicles changed up a little bit, with much more brutal weapons, no pun intended, like the Spiker and the Gravity Hammer, and cool new vehicles like the Prowler were added. This would have been a good time to see a bit more of this, as the Brutes are the lead faction now. Now, don't get me wrong, we did get some new additions to our arsenal that are pretty cool. It just would have been nice to see some of the iconic implements from Halo 3 that we already knew. And while it seems that there are files in the game that were gonna bring back the Brute Spiker, it sadly didn't make the final cut. And for God's sakes 343, I'm happy that you guys are innovating, but what the fuck did you do to my shotgun?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And maybe in time we'll see more implemented into the game. This game is set to span over 10 years with live service, so maybe we'll see some add-ons to the campaign and some iconic Halo weapons and vehicles added back. Even though the game has been out for a few years now and the updates have been a bit lackluster, seemingly just adding modes that should have been there since the launch. But Despite the frustration, we the fans are still hopeful that 343 will add these missing pieces and the game will be the complete experience that we've been waiting for. And 343, if you add the flood back to Halo, I'll forget everything I just said. I'll forget everything you've done over the last few years and we'll just call it a clean slate. But that's all I have for today, keeping it short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know down below what you'd like to see added to Halo Infinite. And while you're down there, consider leaving a like and hitting that subscribe if you like to see more of me. I got some pretty exciting projects in the future that I'm looking forward to, and if you want to see them, smash that button before you leave. But that's all for today. And remember guys, I'm the Virtual Viking, and I am out.